So it's all to play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Hi villains, and welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast for post-match podcasts. As I tried to stifle a burp which came out of absolutely nowhere, and nobody wants to hear that as well. But Aston Villa 2, LEGIA Warsaw 1 in a game that was played under the shadow of I suppose we will call it violence outside the ground. Myself and Paddy spoke about it previously, about West Midlands police needing to be on their toes for tonight, and they did need to be on their toes, and as it turned out, stay safe, I suppose, to anybody leaving the ground if you are watching this, because it soured the atmosphere, it soured the night slightly, but it didn't sour the result on the field, and that's really what Aston Villa came to do and came to achieve tonight, was a win. Ideally, it would have been nice if we got that third goal, Leon Bailey being very, very cruelly denied by the crossbar. Villa had a lot of chances to get that third goal, but alas, it wasn't to be. And literally, as far as I'm aware, all we need to do is avoid defeat against Zrinski on the last day. The last day the Europa League section that we're in, to progress. I'm not too worried about not winning 3-1. Winning was the main thing, and also coming out of it without any injuries, and we certainly seem to have done that on the face of things. The returning Alex Moreno had a fantastic game. He was my man of the match. Spoiler alert for everybody. He was my man of the match. I thought he was absolutely brilliant tonight. The goal he took was absolutely brilliant. It was a shinner on his right foot. I'm okay with those when they go in like that did. And fair play, because I think the team played pretty well. We were always in control, only for that silly mistake from Boubacar Kamara. I don't know what he was thinking. I know he was trying to go to Matty Cash with the pass, but just clearly just did not see the person that was there. Apart from that, I think Villa had a lot of control in it. They controlled the tempo of the game when they needed to, and it's just it was a professional performance, I thought, from Aston Villa on the whole. Some of your comments there as well, just to get into it. Yeah, well, in Valley says confident we get at least a point at Trinsky, which tops us the group. Adam asks, why do we need another goal? We topped the group. Yeah, we've topped the group, but on kind of a count back system with regards to head to head, LEGIA Warsaw beating us 3-2 could have an effect as well. Personally, to be honest with you, I think Alkmaar might even go to LEGIA and beat them. There's a bit of previous between the two of them. Their fans obviously didn't cover themselves in glory when they came to Alkmaar. And if any of you were listening to the commentary, a LEGIA player is due in court over an assault of a Alkmaar official during that game. So there's no there's a serious kind of divide between those two clubs, and I can't imagine that are going to go to LEGIA and lie down in this game. And plus, also, with them winning that game will keep them in the hunt for second place as well, I think, too. So, but the reason that we have topped, we're finished in the top two for certain. We're nailed on to top the group as long as we don't lose to Zrinski in the next round as well. Just Roy says Fortress Villa Park, absolutely. That is fantastic to see. Although it wasn't too much, you could call it a fortress because we tried to keep the fans out, the away fans out, but it seems that some of them did break into the ground at one stage. Because when they scored the goal, there was LEGIA fans seen celebrating unconfirmed reports seen celebrating around the stadium, whether it be in the home area or whether it be in the concourses. But I don't know what the situation was there. It seems like it got really, really messy. Well, it did get really messy before the game, and it should be a talking point. You know, there was counter statements from each club. It seems like Aston Villa have been working with UEFA and have been speaking to UEFA over the last couple of days, working with West Midlands Police. It seems to be that the allocation was reduced on the basis of security based on what happened at Alkmaar, between Alkmaar and Legia Warsaw. And they reached out to Legia to try to keep fans away or from traveling to the game without tickets, and alas, nothing seemed to come from that from the Warsaw side of things. And we had what we had tonight, which was they laid devastation to a certain part of the area where they were penned in. People will have different views on this. I've seen people say, why not give them the full support, full allocation and let them come? Who's to say they wouldn't have ripped up the stadium when they got in there, you know? So there's no right way or wrong way to talk about it other than people should go to football matches and be behaved. You know, there is no... Stan Collymore is dead right. Stan Collymore has been dead right in a lot of things recently, and I must say fair play to him. He's somebody I'd love to get in the podcast. If anybody knows him at all and wants to have a word with him, I'd love to have a chat with him because I've always found him an intriguing character. But he mentioned that, you know, the glorification of hooliganism, I suppose, realistically, and that's what we probably have to call it, on social media or through the veins of, you know, where you've got groups of fans that meet up in the city centre and walk out to the stadium and you know, basically lay devastation in their wake, you know, away fans. You know, those days are gone in the UK, and they should be gone when other fans come here as well. Yes, there's pageantry involved. I'm not saying take away the pageantry or anything like that, but you know, if you're like realistically in 2023, if you're going to a football game hell-bent on just having a dust up, you know, like, you don't get to decide what the other people going to this game who maybe have kids and or maybe have no interest in that. You don't get to decide what they see or what they want to do. And for me, it's very silly. It's stupid, and I think 99.9% of you guys, people out there, will agree that it mars the fixture that we had tonight between the two teams. But as I say, it can't take anything away from the result that happened on the field. So I'm going to park the conversation about what happened outside the ground, and I'm going to concentrate on what happened inside the ground, because I think there's quite a lot to talk about with regards to that. The first goal I thought was absolutely brilliant. When we spoke in the pre-match, in the team sheet tantrum, should I say, I was talking about getting down the side and moving one of the centre halves out of position so that you get down the side on the old lad number 55 that was playing in there at the centre of defence. And that's exactly what happened. Yuri Tielemans plays an absolute wonderful ball. First time inch perfect weighted pass. Oh my God, brilliant pass. To Diaby, who takes it down the wing, cuts inside and sticks it in the bottom corner. It's just a fantastic goal. Execution of that shot was excellent. The execution of the pass, the movement of players around, the sucking in of the players forward to come towards Tielemans so that you have that avenue down that right hand side for Diaby. You know, that's well worked. I'm saying it. How long am I saying this? Probably all this year. I am convinced that Unai Emery almost scripts the first 15 minutes of football matches. And once again, Your Honour, Exhibit A, Exhibit F, Z, even at this stage, of why I think that is the case. If there are pre-positioned areas where you attack on the field, and I'm not just saying attack down the wing, but there's pre-positioned moves to try and create areas and try and see if teams are susceptible to leaving certain areas open. And we're seeing it time in, time out with this Aston Villa team. And I think this was one of them again. I think this is a pre-positioned move. I think this is something that they were waiting for an opportunity like this to happen, albeit the pass that Tielemans makes is very much a reactive pass. It's an instinctual pass from that point of view. I still think they wanted to get in a position where they could draw the players forward into the Aston Villa half, so they could release Diaby in an almost one-on-one situation with a 36-year-old defender on that side, and it worked. And we got a really, really good goal out of it. Their goal, as I said, was a sloppy pass from Boubacar Kamara. God, he can finish the ball. That guy, he can finish the ball. That was a serious shot. See a couple of people on social media saying Olsen just stood still and didn't dive. I still even think if he dives, he doesn't get to that. There's a tremendous amount of whip on that ball. The way it goes right into the top corner. Fair play to him. That was a really well taken goal. I can see him moving. I can see him moving on and into a better league sooner rather than later. That Albanian guy. Villa kind of always had control of this. As I said, they always had control of it. They were always able to pull and drag Legia around the place. And the second goal then comes from a wonderful ball in from Douglas Luiz. And as I mentioned, Alex Moreno gets up, gets his foot to it, slams it into the back of the net. And I couldn't be happier for him. Like coming back from an injury after so long, he's been out now, 6 months? He's been out with that injury. Come back and score your first goal for Aston Villa in your first game back in 6 months. It's just really cool for him, and I'd imagine that he's in the top of the world. He looked unbelievably fit. He almost looked faster than he was previously, and he definitely looked like he was right up to the pitch of match fitness, I suppose, number one, and also just the mental side of being mentally match fit, if that makes sense. His intricate movement of the ball, the way that he was able to shift the ball left and right. There was no ring rust with him there. I think with Alex Moreno, and that's fantastic to see because he's going to be needed in the coming weeks and months for sure. It was great to see Jacob Ramsey get back on the pitch as well tonight. It was great to see Diaby get a goal. It was great to see Zaniolo come on. There's one player I do want to talk about, or two players actually I want to talk about. One is somebody that just kind of gave me a bit of an itch tonight. There was a couple of frustrating parts to his game tonight, and then there was another person that I was really impressed with, and I just loved how he became a kind of elite. He had a kind of a leadership mentality out in the field. So I'll start with the person who kind of gave me a small bit of an itch tonight, and that's John Duran. Gave me a bit of an itch tonight. I think there was and the only reason being is that it showed like he was like we're nearly a year into his tenure, and you still see the kind of the youthful plottishness at times about him. And what I mean by that is there was one ball like in the first half that was crossed in, and he got up to the pitch of the ball, and it was like as if he just turned his back on it as it came in, and he could have smashed that in with a header. I think a more seasoned striker or a greedier striker actually looks to try and head that ball, but for whatever reason he just didn't try to head it, even though he got up to the pitch, got above the defender. I think he could have got to it and he could have headed it in. And then secondly, there was another one we came right across the box later on in the game, and you throw yourself at those if you're a greedy striker who absolutely loves scoring goals, and I'm sure he does love scoring goals. I'm not saying anything negative about him, but these are the little things I think the polish that Unai Emery is going to have to put on him. Apart from that, I thought he ran his absolute nads off today. Couple of strikers tackles here and there. He got physical with the centre halves, and he did some really good stuff. But as I say, not a negative on him. It's just, I think he just showed one or two of the rough edges that I think Unai would love to polish off in him, but definitely getting there. Physically, just a beast of a man, and well able to hold his own from a physical perspective. And then the other person I thought that was really good tonight, and people I'm sure will disagree with me in the comments, but I'm seeing an awful lot more of what I expected to see from somebody who would have played so many years with Barcelona and being in a ball dominant team, and somebody who has the experience of playing at left back as well. I thought Longley was good tonight. I thought he was really good with the ball at his feet. I thought he was carrying the ball out of defence was really, really good. There was a couple of times he put on the afterburners, and before you knew it, he was over the halfway line. I think it was the game to be able to do that because of the withdrawn nature of an awful lot of the LEGIA WARSAW players. Like, they were withdrawing into their own half to create that mid block, and sometimes the best way through a mid block is just to run past it, and Longley did that a couple of times, and he ended up in the edge of the area a couple of times. Now, from a defensive discipline point of view, yes, it's probably you put it in the okay. I wouldn't like to see you do that against Liverpool or Man City or Arsenal bracket. But I think tonight the game called for something like that, and it allowed for something like that. And I was very happy with him. I you know, as I say, I've never been down on him as some people have, and I think tonight, you know, he was he was quite good, and specifically with the ball at his feet. I think he was good, and last but not least, I want to call out Robin Olsen's ball through for Leon Bailey. What a ball through! Leon Bailey takes it down, and as I read on Twitter, when are we ever going to get luck with goal line technology? I loved that comment that I read on Twitter. That little that little subtle facetious comment. And I love stuff like that. But Leon Bailey, very unlucky, gets to the ball, does what you kind of have to do in that instance and go over the goalkeeper. I think when you're running at it at that pace, you know, to set your feet and to try and drill it into the ground or to try and keep it low is difficult. It gives the defender time to get back. I think you have to just go with going over the goalkeeper, which he did. Keeper gets a touch. What do you guys think? Does he? I can't remember. Does he get a touch to it? Do I remember rightly that he gets a finger to it and then it comes off the crossbar, obviously, down right on the goal line and back up again. And unfortunately, things like that happen to Leon Bailey from time to time. But I thought he was really bright when he came on as well. Once again, player looking like he's enjoying his football. So well done to all involved. Anyone I mentioned there. Rob Henry agrees. He says that Moreno was his man of the match. He gave a shout out to Duran and to Olsen too. I think Moreno was definitely, from me, was man of the match for sure. I think he was man of the match, without a shadow of a doubt. For me, where else are we? I'm just going down through the comments here. Yeah, Alfie's Reef is saying Moreno played outstanding as well, considering. And Rob Henry loves the shinner goal as well. Yeah, absolutely. Aston Villa players scoring with their shins in Europe. Yeah, don't think I've ever heard of that happening before. Let's just see a couple more comments there. Actually, yeah, just a quick piece on the referee. I actually don't know whether I thought the referee was good or bad tonight. Genuinely, because there's a couple of things that I went and I said, geez, I would have given freeze for that or whatever. But then there was also times when he let play go and called it back, and he actually played the advantage rule pretty well. So I'm not 100% sure. I'd be interested to hear what Paddy's view is on that. So I'd be interested to hear that. What are your guys' view? What are your guys' views? Pop it in the comments there. Like, I'll be honest, I was too busy kind of watching the game and kind of that I didn't really take much notice of the referee, other than the advantages that he played at times, and maybe thinking that I don't think he got a whole pile wrong. But then again, as I say, I kind of tune out to that stuff nowadays. But let me know whatever you guys think. Dennis White asks, any update on Ollie? I think they just said that I think Unai Emery said that he came in with a small bit of soreness into training yesterday. But apart from that, I think it's nothing serious at all. Nothing serious at all. Where else are we? Yeah, Tombo Jones says Longley was good, but Konza was beast. Konza is just really good. Like as people will remember, I asked for a leader to step up after Mings got injured, and Konza has just been excellent. He's been excellent since that, and he's become a real leader. It was like Konza, as I say, even at the weekend when we played Spurs, I said that's probably Konza's worst performance under Unai Emery. He was still a 7 out of 10. You know, which is great, you know, and fair play to him. He was really, really good as well tonight. Where else are we? Thank you very much, Ken. Thanks a million for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Sorry there, guys. As I say, it's sometimes so. You know, when I start starring the comments in the comment section to come back to them to talk about them afterwards is when Paddy gets talking, and then I can go and I can dig into the comments as well. Obviously listening to Paddy, don't get me wrong, I'm not that ignorant. But it's just sometimes it keeps the the dead air from popping up. Where else are we? Yeah, a couple of you guys saying that with regards to the goalkeeper, better than Premier League refs, but that's not hard. Ref was okay tonight, better than most domestic refs. Ref was inconsistent. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, he was good and bad in equal parts. As Danny H probably could do middling it a little bit more, as his range was far too much. Actually, that's one thing I did notice. He was absolutely everywhere. There was something he was going end line to end line at times. Yeah. But as I say, I don't think he was anything too out of the ordinary today, to be honest. Yeah, another thing as well. So Shane Mead says here, set pieces are very exciting these days. It's funny, isn't it? It's funny. I think set pieces for Aston Villa are set pieces for every team. When you don't have big hulks, big 6'4" players all over your team, or midfield and centre half and wherever. When you don't have those, you need to be creative. And I think sometimes, like when people talk about like Sean Dyche teams are always very good at set pieces, and so on. And David Moyes teams, like I suppose really West Ham when they had Souček and Rice in there, and then they had they bring up their big centre halves. Obviously it creates a difference. And when you've got Villa's team, we're not twerps, we're not tiny or anything like that, but we don't have the big 6'4" monsters. We just don't. We've Pau Torres, and that's it. You need to be creative, and when you need to be creative like that, I think it can take time for the fruits of set piece labor to come through. And this is just me spitballing in this. I obviously have nothing to go on, and I've never seen anything in any coaching seminars or anything like that in this, but you would stand to reason that you need to be more creative. And when you need to be more creative than just lump it in the ball and let the physical freaks win, it takes time for the fruits to show. And I think we're seeing it now, whereby we've got a repertoire of movements, I suppose, pre and during set pieces. And also it helps to be able to have a Douglas Luiz there as well, because his set pieces are excellent. Like whether it be corners. There was an instance in the first half where, and the commentator alluded to it, Douglas Luiz put one right on the front post. I mean, like right on the front post. And Legia scrambled to get it out for another corner. And then I think it was Don Hutchinson as well said, you know what, he might do that again because he scored from that instance before. He might do that again. And Douglas Luiz puts it right in the same spot at the front post again and causes consternation. He's a real gem. He's a real gem. And he's very pivotal to what the team does. And long may it continue, because I think a lot to do with our set pieces is because of him. Obviously, we scored the weekend from a set piece with Pau Torres plumps his forehead on one. And then tonight we get Alex Moreno putting his right shin on one. But they both come from brilliant Douglas Luiz deliveries. So is there an argument to be made about James Ward-Prowse and Douglas Luiz? Douglas Luiz's delivery, is he getting up to that level of delivery? I know he's not scoring from free kicks outside the box and stuff like that, and I think sometimes from a James Ward-Prowse point of view, that maybe that obviously elevates him, but I think it clouds people with regards to his deliveries and stuff. His deliveries are absolutely fantastic, don't get me wrong, but is Douglas Luiz getting up there? I don't know. Is it a point for conversation? Maybe at the end of the year, when we look back and we see the assist rates, or maybe the free kicks or the set pieces whereby there were successful set pieces. I'm sure there's a statistic on that somewhere. Be interesting to see, because more often than not, his set pieces go where they're supposed to, and we cause something from them. May not always score, obviously, but we're causing consternation for them. And that's pretty cool. It's nice to have it. It's nice to have that as a weapon within the team, as I say, and long may it continue. Yeah, and as Tombo says, Torres acknowledged Dougie's ball in. I think the players must love that, specifically, like for Torres being the only guy that's been probably the tallest player in the team now outside of Dendoncker, I would imagine. He must love stuff like that as well. And I hate clowns ask, what do we do if Dougie leaves? Let's not think about that. That's not a question for today. And he won't leave because he loves it here. Let's just say, look, Douglas Luiz is Villa Villa's talisman at the moment, and long may it continue, as I say. For sure, long may it continue. Matt Hanlon, thank you so much for that. Ken must not win. I agree. And yes, I have seen Barbie the movie. I have seen Barbie the movie as well. Tombo Jones again asks, why does McPhee get so much press? All the commentators know his name. Have you ever seen him? Have you ever seen him, Tombo? I think it's the rock star look, and also the fact that there aren't too many dedicated set piece coaches out there, and he gets that moniker and he gets that name, but you often see him doing an awful lot of the in-game communications on the sideline from Unai Emery. But I think it's just because he's such a striking. The way he looks is so striking. It's like Gareth Ainsworth, who the ex-QPR manager and Wycombe manager. Like, he used to get all the press. Number one, because he's a sound guy, it seems. And he's a down-to-earth guy, and he plays in a rock band. And yes, he's played whatever 400 odd games of professional football, but it's the long hair. I think it's the long hair is what gets McPhee noticed. But also, look, if we keep on scoring from set pieces, and there's a manager club who's a set piece coach, well then, that's why he's gonna. I think that's why he's gonna get all the press. So fair play to him. Let him keep doing what he's doing. Let him keep doing what he's doing. And as Nick McMahon says, McPhee is also the Scotland. I don't know, is he the Scotland assistant manager, or is he? I know he's involved with Scotland, but I didn't. He could be the assistant manager. I don't know. I wasn't sure. He's definitely, as Chris Cal says, he's definitely on the Scottish coaching staff as well. Yeah. For sure. Yeah. I was thinking Paddy might be able to get on, and then I realized I forgot to send him the invite. And to be honest with you, I'd prefer him not to have his phone in his hand trying to do a podcast as he's walking around the stadium tonight, just for the night that's in it. So with that, everybody, I think I'm going to call a day to this podcast tonight. Look, it's a fantastic result for Aston Villa, 2-1 on a Thursday night, with Bournemouth to come on Sunday as well. No injuries out of it, and looking pretty in Europe, albeit we didn't do the needful today to make most our game a game whereby we can coast. Unai Emery is going to rotate in that game anyway. So I suppose, realistically thinking about it, there's only so much rotation he could have done extra on top of what he does anyway. So next week against Mo Stars, against Rinchke, is going to be a game we will all want to watch, and a game we need to get a result out of as well. But before that, we do have Bournemouth, and we will be back with a Bournemouth preview probably tomorrow, and then obviously Team Sheet Tantrum and post match on Sunday as well. So really looking forward to that, and looking forward to back into league football, where we're obviously flying high there as well. So thanks so much, everybody, for watching. Thanks so much, everybody, for listening. If you are watching and listening to this and you're in around the ground, stay safe tonight. Stay safe in around Birmingham City Centre. And as I say, we'll be back again tomorrow with a Bournemouth preview. But in the meantime, stay safe, stay healthy, and all that's left to say is up the Villa.